Hey all, 118 Seth Shadow here. A quick shout out before I start my market watch for today. For anyone going to Anime Central of 2024 this coming weekend, I am actually going to be hosting a panel on trading card games for that weekend on Saturday. So, if you have some time, feel free to stop on by. For those of you who have not played any other card games other than some of the common ones I go through or old classics like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh!, we're going to take a look at some other games which even I haven't played yet, like Digimon or One Piece. Have a look at some of the cards, how it goes, and yeah. So, if anyone's interested, feel free to stop on by. I'll also get a chance to pick up some free cards as well. With that said and done, let's go ahead and get into today's Market Watch because we've got some big news that just dropped on us today. The first thing being, the new Stride deck sets have been announced by Bushiroad. And yes, it's deck sets. There are two of them. Just like how we had Shiranui and Luard released simultaneously, this time we have a simultaneous release of Harry and Night Rose. What was the duo's name again? Rummy Labyrinth, that's right. These two units are from the Rummy Labyrinth pair of the G series, Luna and Ami. So, it was basically between these two or Asha and Altmile from the rest of the Tri-3 team, but I guess Bushiroad doesn't care as much for double A's. In any case, yep, so it's been confirmed. Night Rose is going to be our first Stoichia Stride deck set, while Harry will be the first Stride deck set to be an addition to a Nation Stride deck set. And to that point, we have to go back and revisit the Chronojet Stride deck set here, because there has been some talk around the town about how some cards from here could be utilized in Harry, given that they are Dark States based. We don't have any announcements on any of the card effects yet, so it's all speculation at this point, but there is a lot of buzz around utilizing cards like Upstream Dragon, which can generically call cards from the deck that are grade 1, and the only condition is that you're in GB1. And then, of course, you've got Fate Rider Dragon, which is a Stride, and this Stride also does not have any clan or nation restrictions. Nation would be irrelevant. So we'll have to see what they do with Harry and if they allow for that sort of collaboration for Stride cards and other cards. But in addition to the Chronojet Stride deck set, we now have to start looking back at some generics that currently exist on the format right now. Like, the first thing that most players might think of right now are these Stride fodders that come out of set 13, like Enlargliv for Stoichia, where this card is already moving from $20 to $40, and there are only 2 listings on the market right now that are starting from $33. And we have a lot more to go through, so I'm kind of going to fly through these at this point. We've got Noctiruso, which is the Dark States equivalent. This is also at $30 right now, but this has been notoriously the most expensive of all of these Stride fodders. So this price increase has not been as big. Even so, being at least $30, that's intense, especially for the most expensive of the lot. Then we've also got Shadow Cloak, which it mills orders and then has the potential to put cards back in your hand if you play orders. Since we don't know about Night Rose's effects yet, there's not much to go off on whether this card will be useful for it. But we do have Zorga upcoming too, so players have been looking at this card for that as well. Then we've got Consecrated Noble Phylander. Since Night Rose is a mill deck, this card is definitely going to be looked at for the extra power gain that it applies, as well as the ability to mill cards from the top of your deck as well. This one went up to $25 on the triple rare, but the market price is $10, while the FFR is currently a $60 base. There's also Prodpol and Rathalos, which this one hasn't been getting any attention, but I wanted to call it out. This one just calls plant tokens, but this is the only printing of the card that exists. So for early rush play or for potential combo play later on, depending on what Night Rose does, this could be useful. It's 531 base, and it hasn't sold since the end of April, but it has been selling for about 532 every time, and the market price is currently 611. Then there's Desire Devil Goemon for the Harry side, where if you shove this to soul with your Vanguard's effect, then your opponent has to always guard with 2 cards every single time they guard. And given that Harry is a multi-attack deck, this could be very devastating if it's usable in Harry. We'll have to see. Because ultimately, there are Harrys that allow you to put to soul in the current format today. It could happen here too, so we'll have to see what happens there. Nectar of Sensationalism is an order from set 2 that has been getting attention for Zorga, and now it has potential attention with Night Rose as well, given that it deals with how many cards are in your drop to gain power and eventually give a unit a crit. This card has been moving more, and the holofoil has gone way up in price, where even though I say that, it's still under $5 for its base listing, but the market price is 94 cents while the base listing is $3.50. Even so, this is one to definitely watch out for. And then, of course, we've got Inlet Pulse Dragon, which I don't think there's been as much attention on this one, but being Stoichia and given that Night Rose is more than likely going to be a multi-attack deck, this card has a lot of potential to be played in there as well. And now we're moving into something else that happened. TCG Player has made individual listings of the different energy token types that are available from set 1. And you know what that means. There is one that stands out above the rest, and it is the Going First energy token of Nao Inabe. For those of you who have been paying attention to the Japanese market as well, Nao has been a very popular character to the point where a lot of her supply sets, her sleeves, her deck boxes, anything that features this character has been way up in value and immensely popular, and everybody just wants their hands on any of it. This is the only one of the energy tokens that is currently selling for at least $4 on the market, and its market price is currently $1.24, and all the listings right now are a minimum of $4. You do have a 96-cent one, but again, that is with a $5 shipping tag. So, aside from that, we do have what else have we got? We've got the typical Fated Clash one, which just has the advertising on the back of it. The rest of them are going first and going second markers like Akina, Taizo, Mikoto, and then we've also got Gawelis, which is the stuffed animal character. But yeah, so if you want specific energy markers, they are now available on TCG Player as individual listings. Also, I want to point out that Direful Doll Liberta, the FR of this, is pretty high up in price, given that it's an FR. There are only 5 listings left of this card, and the market price is currently $8.63. While it looks like it's on a massive downtrend from the graph, it's climbing back up there from what you see, and today the card has been selling for $13 to $14. And right now, the available listings are all around $15 with not many quantities to go off of. Cooling Heart Yuika. With all the different prints it has, this card is still holding a high level of stability for its value at this point. It's a $20 to $25 card, a little higher than that on some listings. And then if you want the FFR, $500. I think it's still the same listing that I pointed out before. Well, it hasn't sold in a while. The last I remember this thing sold for was $450. Prank Explorer Crispino, which is one of the support cards for Fennel from Trick and Trick. I mentioned how this card was going to sell out eventually, and we are almost out of listings. 3 listings overall, and the card is moving for $4 to $5. The only listings available now are just under $3 at this point, and only 3 copies overall. And then our last card for today is, I have to cover it again because I was surprised to see this card sell this fast. It's the SP Wood Elemental Leafly, from the Constructed Cup Top 8 set. So this card is $30 right now, but there's only one listing left. And when I covered this card earlier, the card had what, like 8, 9 listings, I think? And they got eaten up really fast. So yeah, not sure what to take on that. Given that we should have some more Constructed Cups coming for the next few weeks, we should see more of these on the market, but yeah, ultimately, it really just depends on the popularity of it. I mean, holding at 30, I thought it was not a bad price to be at 25. 30 is fine. Any higher than that, that's going to be interesting to see, given that it's easier to pick up than the crit. But if there's just... When you also take a look at some of the other SP triggers that are available, like LG Pixie from set 1, those are also holding at about $30. So, yeah. Sometimes it's just the artwork, sometimes it's just the background around it, but Wood Elemental is actually moving quite a lot more than I expected. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys later.